Hello, I'm John BenderWaffles Aljets, and today we will be exploring the lost art of the pixel. We will be diving into the second episode of our series on characters within RPG Maker. We are going to be covering 3 different methods for creating the sprites for our characters. We'll use the built-in character generator, a program called Game Character Hub, and a free solution for those of you on a budget. Now, I myself am not a very good artist, so I won't be going into the specific details of how to do the pixel art itself. For that, you can check out other channels such as the Silver League Networks. There'll be a link down in the description for them. I will be going over the basics here and showing you the tools that you need. Without any more chit chat, guys, let's get over to my computer over there and let's get to work. So here we are at the computer. Before we get started, guys, I'm just going to apologize for the video quality on me. I'm back to using my webcam for this one because I'm having a bit of a technical shift up. If you notice, I'm actually in a different location. I'm in my living room right now because we've changed up our internet service providers and I'm now tethered to a wall downstairs as opposed to upstairs. So had to shift the computer around, haven't gotten the camera all set up yet, and that's also why this video is kind of taking a while to come out. Now we're going to do the graphics for 3 separate characters today, hence the 3 different ways of doing it. We have one character who's our main character, comes from this sort of snowy area up here. We have our second character who's going to be coming from this sort of coastal town. And then our third character who's going to come from this southernmost desert town. Our characters are going to be Dorian, who is our main character. The second character is actually going to be a placeholder character because I'm waiting to hear back from our 50 subscriber contest winner about their information so that I can create a character based off of them. But I am going to do a placeholder character today. You will see their finished character in the next episode. And then we have this character from down here. His name is Simon. So we're going to start with Dorian. Dorian we're going to make using the character generator. Now to start the character generator within RPG Maker, you just click on the character generator button up here that looks like a little dude. So just click on that and it brings up a window that looks like this. Now, when you're working with this is not, I should preface this by saying that I do not recommend using the character generator. I feel like it is a fairly unprofessional tool. It doesn't allow for enough customization for you to create truly unique characters. And I just feel like it feels tacky. I feel like if you create a character within the character generator, that's fine, but you need to go in and you need to edit it and you need to make it unique. But if you don't have a lot of options, you're not very skilled artistically, this is an acceptable way of doing things, I suppose. So we're going to make our main character here. We're going to change up their hair color. Most main characters in JRPGs tend to be blonde, so we're going to do that. Eye color, we're going to go with green because I have green eyes, and I like making characters who are based off of me. And he's from a snowier area, so he's going to be very pale. He looks almost sickly, actually. Let's tone that back. There we go. So front hair type. Now, when you're working with the different parts of their body, you have all these drop-down menus, and it will change stuff on the portrait and stuff on their overworld sprite to match up. So obviously each of the sections, like, it's pretty obvious what they're talking about with that sort of thing. A couple of them might be a little bit harder to figure out, but you could just experiment and figure out what is what. So with this, let's try to find a hairstyle that looks like a hero, like the main character. That's pretty good. The rear hair, now they separate hair by the hair that you can see in the very front, like this stuff up here, like your bangs, all that sort of stuff. And then the stuff in the back sort of, it gives it so that your hairstyles can be very unique. Well, fairly unique. So let's find something that looks like something that a main character would have. Whoa, spiky hair. Looks like a member of the flock of seagulls right now. Let's give him That actually looks alright. The sort of default look. Face shape. The boyish sort of first type is fine. Ears, with these you have ears, they just basically like two different kinds of elf ears and then human ears. We're going to stick with human ears. Eyebrows. He's just permanently scared. That looks fine. Eyes. Ugh. I really don't like the eye options. I will tell you that much right now. They're pretty lackluster. The nose, we need something that looks... There we go. Mouth, let's close that mouth. Now he just looks very sad. I think he's got a quivering lip. You know what? We'll keep the mouth open. Eye level. We're going to go with a middle eye level. Beard. It's too young. He's not going to have a beard. Camo Numnumimi. This is just like if you want to make him an animal person. Which we do not. Tail, also again, if you want to make him an animal person. Now we're going to go with things like his clothing. Neck. Note that the neck is really only going to affect the portrait. And with clothing, you will notice that there's a second option, which is the coloration of that particular piece. This allows you to sort of change up the way that things look a little bit. So we need to look for something that looks like what a main character would wear. That looks fine. Coloration. That looks good. Sort of a bluish hint down there. Let's just go through. Note that you can choose your different looks if you wish. That kind of looks right. Just try your best to match up the bottom and the top. And for the most part, the character generator will do that for you, but it's just something to keep in mind. Cloak, his portrait doesn't really show a cloak. Wings, he's not an angel person. Tattoo, we don't need any of those. Glasses, maybe we want glasses. Make him a cool guy. Give him some goggles. An eye patch, perhaps. No, we don't need to have any of those. Accessories are like tiaras, headbands, all that sort of stuff. This one's got a bow that you can't see very well. This one is like face masks and headbands. Actually, I kind of like the headband, to be honest with you. Don't like it on the character sprite, though, so let's get rid of it. All right, so we're just going to call this fine. This is going to be our main character, Dorian. So click Output Face to output the portrait. And as you notice, I did a test run where I created a character, so that's already in there. But we are going to overwrite it. Now, note that when you go to Output Face, it is going to put it in the right place automatically. It is going to put it in the graphics faces folder for your particular project. Just don't mess with it. Don't put it anyplace else unless you intend on editing it and then importing it manually. Which we are not on this one. Yes, we're going to replace it. All right. Output character. Again, as you notice, I did like sort of pre-tests already. So we're just going to overwrite Dorian's overworld. And there we go. Now we are done with that main character. We have a character in place for that. So now let's show you the second means, which is using a program called Game Character Hub. Now, this is a piece of software that you have to buy off of Steam. It costs about $15, I think. A lot of people probably got it via the RPG Maker Humble Bundle. That's actually how I got it. And this is the way that I suggest. It allows you to create much more unique and professional looking characters a lot easier. It is a graphic editing interface. As you notice, you got like draw tools and all that sort of stuff. It's focused on pixel art. So we're going to go here. We're going to go File, New, RPG Maker VX Ace character. Click that, and it gives us the 3x4 grid that we need. Now, whenever you're working with graphics editing, this might be just a small little thing. If you see like these white and gray tiles, in a pattern like this, or really any time that you will see like a checkerboard pattern, that usually means that it's transparent, which is what you want. So really just don't mess with that, with the background too much. So we're going to go to character, add item or drawing layer, and go to add item. Now we're going to use the items that were already pre-installed with the program to create our characters. You can also create your own parts and, you know, really do whatever you want with this program. Yeah, you'll see what I mean when we get in there. Double click on the VX Ace folder and that will bring up all of the VX parts. So go to, first of all, we need to start with the body. So go to the body and go with, we're making a placeholder character here. So we're going to make a female placeholder, just kind of shake things up, keep it interesting. So we're going to go with a white human female. The thing about this is that you can change specific parts that are deemed changeable on the parts that you were not able to change within the default character generator, which is nice. So we're going to give her, why not, red underwear. Not like you're going to see it anyways. All right, click add. And now you could click close, and right there you have a character. You could be done if you want to. She's naked and has no hair, but it doesn't really have any defining characteristics, but it's something you could do. So we're going to bring that add item menu back up, and we're going to back out. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the eyes. Now, with the eyes, you bring up the eyes, or you could have the darker eyes. You have two different eyes depending on what sort of color you want. So I want to give her, let's go with sort of a dark blue eye. So click add. If you notice, it just barely shifted the coloration of her eyes, and it added another layer here. And that's fine. That's what we want. Now we aren't going to close this window because you can actually keep the window open and keep adding parts and keep building the character. So let's go with hair this time. We're going to go with female hair. Now you're going to get a lot of options on hair on this one. I would actually suggest skipping over don't use the black and the white unless you want to create black or white haired characters. And we're instead just going to go with, sort of the red. And we go with the red because you get a slider here that allows you to sort of change the hue of the hair, change the color. Now we're going to go with a kind of a seafoam color. Now you'll notice we have a problem. The hair back, the back part of it, which is this layer here, is actually appearing in front of the head. And that is a problem. It is something that we can address really easily, though, by doing this. Go over here to your layers. We have to close this. Go over here to your layers. Take the red long hair back part and drag it behind the body. Ta-da! Problem solved. You'll notice it adds what looks like we have a little bit of an issue there. That is problematic. That is because that portion of the head is popping out of the hair. Those are some of the like small glitches you could say that you could have that you could fix by simply just erasing that part of the head. And we're going to do that now. We're going to turn off the hair. And we are going to zoom in, and we are just going to delete the parts that stick through the hair. Now this might look funny, and you're right, it does in fact look rather silly. We've just cut off that character's head, but now the sprite looks right. And we will come down here. Make sure when you're deleting that you are selected the layer of the parts that you want to delete, because otherwise you are going to have some issues, which we don't want to have issues, because issues cost us precious time. So let's just fix the issues. And there we go. Now the hair looks correct and it functions correctly. Now let's go ahead, back up to the item menu, and let's give this character some clothing, shall we? Back to the VX folder, and let's choose clothing. We're going to go female clothing here because our character is female. However, you could put male clothing on there, just it might not necessarily fit correctly, fit the model correctly. And we are going to find something that looks right. Now, if you notice, we can't really get too much of a feel for the way that it looks right now. You just bring up fast preview and it'll automatically put the clothes on them, which is super useful. We're going to find something that looks good. And note that you can yet again change the hue, change the colors, make things look better. Like that. That looks pretty freaking legit. That looks like a character. You can click add and it will add the finalized item on there. And there you go. You have a finished character. We could add more stuff to them if we wanted. Like if we wanted to add, say, an eye patch, some glasses, some sort of headband, you know, sort of thing like this. We could add a mask if we want to make them look like a superhero or something. You know, give them a full mask, give them a bow tie, give them a halo. It just kind of like sits around their head. You can put stuff on their shoulders if you want to make them look like a football player, apparently. You can do all sorts of things. And if you choose not to, that's fine. You can just use your character. You can work with them and you can tweak them and change them however you want. And using the drawing tools, you can change the colors of individual parts to make things look better. Like, here's one thing that we're going to do. We are going to give this character they're going to be blind in their, let's say, left eye. So it's left eye, so it'd be right on our side. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our pencil tool. We're going to select white, and we are just going to make sure that we have the right layer selected. Oh, well, we're having issues. That is always fun. So yeah, but either way, you get the idea. You can change stuff up and make things look however you wish. And just have fun with it, play with it. So now we're going to save this character, save as. Make sure that you go to a place that makes sense. We're going to go into the tutorial folder and we're going to find the characters folder. So yes, make sure that you save your GCH, and then you can always make sure to go back and just save the PNG as well. So, and I apologize if there was a very awkward cut there. I had a bit of a technical glitch. So make sure that you save the PNG. Save. You'll get a menu here. Just click OK. You don't have to mess with any of the settings. Like, it's perfectly fine the way they are. You'll also get a pop-up here that will talk about using the file within RPG Maker. You need to have a money sign, US money sign symbol in front of it, or else RPG Maker Ace won't recognize it as only one character on the sheet. It will think that it's a multiple character sheet, and so you'll, like, when you bring it in, the window will only be like this much. I know that you can't see what I'm motioning at, but that's fine. Will only be like a little chunk of it, and it just won't work right. So just make sure to click yes, and it'll automatically put the symbol in front of it, and you'll be good to go. I'll talk about manually importing characters after the next character. But for the next character, Simon, we're going to go back into RPG Maker, and this character, I'm going to show you techniques that are meant for those of you who don't have a budget for buying programs like Game Character Hub. Those of you who want to do it in sort of a cheap, free sort of method. So we're going to go and we're going to use three tools. We're going to use the character generator within RPG Maker here. We're then going to take that character into Paint edit the sprite, and then we are going to take it into GIMP, work with the transparency, make sure that it works within RPG Maker. So let's start with the character generator. We're just going to make a random character. So his hair color is going to be irrelevant because we're going to change it, but we're going to go with like a reddish sort of color. Eye color, we're going to make it brown. Skin color, we're going darker because he's from a desert. It's not racist, guys. It just makes logical sense. So let's find a hairstyle that works. I almost sort of want him to be kind of a type of elvish sort of character. So we're going to go with a very thin, very gaunt face. We're going to give him elf ears. His eyebrows are going to be, yeah, like that's fine. His eyes, much thinner, much more slender, just a lot more angular in shape. The same with his nose. We're going to go with a, there we go. That's a little bulbous. There we go. His mouth can be closed. Eye level is fine. We're not going to give him a tail or anything like that. His neck, we're going to go with none because he's going to be wearing like a desert dweller kind of outfit with like an open bare chest. There we go. We're going to change the color on that. There we go. Cloak, tattoo, maybe a tattoo. Tattoo's only really noticeable on the portrait. And guys, you'll notice that in the last section with Game Character Hub, I did not show you how to make a portrait. You can use all the same techniques that I showed you within Game Character Hub for making a character to also then make a portrait. So you can do all that within Game Character Hub, and it's perfectly fine. So here we have our character that we're going to edit, that we're going to change up. We're going to output the face, and we're going to output the face to our characters folder. This is going to be Simon Face. And then we're going to go to output him. And we're going to go and just put Simon. Okay, now we are going to pull up that folder. Tutorial, characters. And we are going to go in and we are going to edit this Simon character within Paint. Now, to do that, you just right click and select edit, and it brings up Paint. Now we're going to do something that's going to seem a little weird at first, but I'll explain why we're doing it. So first things first is we're going to select all, and we're going to copy, and then we're going to paste. So basically we just pasted the same exact thing that already existed already on top of it. And what that does is it allows us to do this. You select, let's say, the lightest color of his hair, and left click. And then for color 2, find the color that you want to change it to. We want to change his hair to sort of like a yellowish sort of hue. Take that, take the erase tool, and right click, and just drag it over the sprite. And as you'll notice, what it's doing is it is changing up the color. Every time that color that you had selected in color 1 exists, it is now changing it. Do the same with all the different shades, making sure to change the other colors, the second color as it were, to make sure that things flow and look right and don't appear to be too odd. Now sometimes you'll have issues where the program will stop doing what you want it to do, and that's fine. Just save your work and come back later and mess with it further, and you'll get it worked out. You could also just use the paint bucket tool to sort of fill things in if that works for you. It's just a little bit more time consuming. And so now we go with an even darker shade. I actually really like the way that this character's hair is coming out. And then finally the darkest shade. Make sure to you don't really want to change up the blacks of a character because the outlines exist for a reason. just change up what needs to be changed up. And there we go. We now have a character that has orange hair that had red hair before. So now you can click save, and that saves that. And now we run into a problem, which is what we need GIMP for. Now, when you open up a regular character into your preview window, you'll notice that the background is transparent. It's not there. When you do that with the guy who you just edited in Paint, it's white. That's problematic. So we go and open up a program called GIMP, which is a free image editing software that you can get at a link that I will have down in the description. It's comparable to Photoshop, has a lot of the same sort of features, and works a lot the same way. We're going to go ahead and open up, navigate to where our Simon character is, and open it. Now we're going to take our fuzzy select tool here, and we're just going to click on the white. Now as you see, it just selected the white, and now we can just hit delete. And now we've got that checkerboard pattern that I was talking about, where that denotes transparency. Just go to File, Overwrite, and now when we close GIMP and we open that up in File Preview, the white is gone. It's that simple. So now we can take our characters, select them, and copy. And what we're going to do is we're going to manually place them in the folder. Anytime that you edit a sprite elsewhere on the computer, you need to make sure that it is in the correct place in your project folders, or else RPG Maker won't know where it is and won't be able to work with it. And that place where your project folders is within Documents, RPG Maker VX Ace. Navigate to your project's work, which on this one we're doing tutorial game. For character graphics, you will go into Graphics and Characters and paste them in. And for faces, you put them in there. Tile sets, you put them in the tile set folder, all that sort of stuff. So now, when we go into our database within RPG Maker, you will find that not only is our Dorian character there, but you will also see that so is our placeholder and Simon. So there you go, guys. That's how you do the graphics for your characters within RPG Maker. 3 different ways. Also, one thing that I actually want to tack on really quickly. Note that I'm going to be editing these characters away from these tutorials. And you should be doing that too. Making a game and learning is all about failing. You need to allow yourself to fail. I'm going to give you the tools that you need, and then you just need to take those and expand out. And what you make is not going to be spectacular. It's not going to be great. If you looked at the stuff I did today, that's not great. That's not good by any stretch of the imagination, but it's functional. You need to take what I show you here and expand upon it. Experiment. As I said, you will fail, and that's okay. You need to be okay with that. Just experiment, expand, work with things on your own, and let's see what you guys can create. I want to see you guys tweet your character sprites at me. I'm at BenderWaffles on Twitter. Just show me your characters. I want to see them, and I want to see you guys try to do better than I've done. That's what I want. As I said, go watch Silver League Network's videos. He'll show you how to do pixel art. I'm not very good at it, but he is, and you can learn a lot from him. So go do the extra stuff, guys. Go the extra mile. Don't just do what I'm doing in these tutorials and call it good. Go out and seek alternative means of learning, or just play around, have fun with it, and you'll get it. You guys will do great. A lot better than me, at least. That's it, guys. Now, once you figure out a system that works for you, you'll be able to create better quality sprites faster. So just keep at it and practice. Next video, we will be finishing up our series on characters by going over defining a character's class. You can click on this button here to be taken to that video when it's up. If not, that button will take you to my channel where you can subscribe. If you guys like this video, give it a like. Leave a comment down below asking me any questions you might have about RPG Maker. I'll do my best to cover them in time. If you guys really like this video, you can support me directly by going to my Patreon page. You can click on the logo up here for that or the link down in the description. As always, guys, don't forget to subscribe and have a good one.